Hey guys, my name's Adam, but to special someone, I'm called Dad Dad. Thanks for joining us here on the Scent Project today. And today we're welcoming back one of our favorite friends, Duncan Duck. Okay, Duncan, you got a lot going on in the world today. So tell us, last time we hung out together, you were talking about this great thing called migrating, where you fly from somewhere far north and you go south. And I think, were you going to Florida? Well, that sounds so fun. And today he's going to give us some lessons that he learned about teamwork from migrating. So why don't you tell us all about that, Duncan? Oh, okay. Well, Duncan is telling us first about sometimes where it's important where you have to be first, then also when you have to be last. So if you've ever seen ducks fly in the air, or geese too, and many other birds that fly in giant flocks like that, you're going to notice something very interesting. They fly in something called a V. Ooh, and you said you love this. Yeah, it's something that ducks do so they can fly a little more aerodynamically. Basically, that's a fancy way of saying they want to fly faster and go further, and if they fly in a certain pattern, like they'll be able to cut through the air quicker. And sometimes when you're at the front of this, it's a lot of work, but it's a really important job because you're at the front of the pack. You're leading the team. But you also have to know at times when you're not able to be at the front. You've exhausted yourself and you need a little bit more of a break so you could go all the way to the back where it's a little easier to fly. When you're working on a team, sometimes it's really important, according to Duncan, to know when you need to be first and where you need to lead everybody. And then other times it's important to know when you need to go to the back and let somebody else take charge. You don't always need to be in charge, but it's important to know when you need to be and when you don't need to be. Really? Duncan's saying that he loved helping out in front, but he also saw that he was so grateful that he had so many great friends and teammates that could take the lead too. What else can you teach us from this migration? What else did we learn from this? Oh, that's important. So Duncan is saying that when you're on a team, it's important to know where you're going. Now, this is a big deal because not only are they on a team, but they're also flying so that they could have a much better home. It's not just winning a game that they're trying to do, they're actually trying to survive. And that means they have to know what direction they're going in all the time. If you go in the wrong direction, they could actually get hurt or scared, or maybe they're going to have a really rough winter. And Duncan just had a funny story to tell us about this. He's saying that when he was leading one time, he took them in the wrong direction. See, all the ducks wanted to stop at McDonald's, but instead he brought them to Wendy's by mistake. And he said the ducks would not stop making fun of him, even though they were being very sweet and very fun and very lovely for it. Duncan needed to know what direction to go into. When you're part of a team, you have to know where you're going and what way you should be helping everybody else go. Is that right, Duncan? And he also said, for the record right there, he never got the directions wrong. They always ended up at McDonald's afterwards. Okay, so Duncan, you have a lot more to say. Do you have another thing you learned from migrating? Oh, that's good to know. He said it's also important to not leave a friend behind. Now, when you're migrating, you're going very quick, you're going very far, and you're with your whole flock. But you can't forget somebody. Sometimes people are going to struggle a little bit more, and that means you just don't leave them behind. You just learn how you could help them better. Sometimes it might mean they need to start a little earlier. Sometimes it means they might need to stay a little later for practice. And sometimes what it means is they just need a friend that's willing to be there with them to help make sure everything goes well. And Duncan, were you that friend? He actually, whoa, are you serious? No. Duncan said he actually carried 2 extra ducks on his back during this migration. That's pretty impressive, bro. Look at those guns. Okay, I see you. You're making me believe that you're able to do this. All right, do you have any 4th piece of advice for us for migrating? Okay, Duncan's last piece of migrating is simply this, and also for working on a team. He says, have fun. You know, winning is important, and we've talked about this before. Winning is a lot of fun, and there's nothing wrong with being competitive. In fact, it's a great thing that you're competitive. But for them, this isn't a competition. It's that they're trying to do the best they can so they can get to their best home. But he said it's also important to have fun. You're with people for so long doing so many things. There's no way that you're gonna suffer during this process. You need to have so much fun. Duncan, did you have fun with the other ducks? Really? He said he had so much fun that they all got each other's addresses so they could write letters to each other, and they could even do mail. Now, I don't know how that works because I don't think ducks have mailboxes. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get up in your business. Fine, that's your thing, Duncan. But Duncan seems to have a great time. And guys, we want to remind you, as you're on teams, it's not always about us. It's about how great the team can do. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't perform well or that you shouldn't do your best. You should always do your best. But when we're part of a team, we're doing a lot of great things. Sometimes you need to know when you need to lead. Sometimes you need to know when you need to take a step back. You need to know how to make sure everybody gets together. And of course, how to have fun. We can't wait, and thanks for joining us on the Seth Project. We learned a little bit more about migrating today. Thanks, Duncan. Croak, 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 croak. See you later.